Welcome to a special midweek edition of the Soccer Best Bets show here. Now, this week we have some midweek EPL action and a little bit of La Liga as well. Let's look at 5 different games with our main focus being on EPL Matchday 14. Now, it was an okay weekend going 2-1 in the soccer parlays, just being one Man City goal away from being 3-0. Let's get into this week's games. If you want more soccer picks, be sure to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. There's also some more picks in the members only section. We'll go to Tuesday here. Starting in the EPL, Leicester and West Ham. This game's on Tuesday. It was a bad start for both this season so far. West Ham 14th, Leicester 16th. Both also had awful weekends with their defenses being ripped to shreds. Leicester let in 4 in a 4-1 loss to Brentford. West Ham dug the ball out of their own net 5 times themselves and 5 times just in the opening half, going on to lose 5-2 to Arsenal. With all 7 goals being scored in the first half. It was just the 4th time in the history that there's been 7 or more goals in the first half of an EPL game. Leicester is now 0-1-5-6 if you look at their last recent matches, and they've been outscored 18-6 in that time. Leicester only has 2 wins on the year in the EPL. They've conceded in 12 of 13. They have at least scored also in 12 of 13 as well. Now, with those type of stats, obviously, bets on both teams to score have been hitting, and it's gone 11-2. Ruud van Nistelrooy gets his first start as manager, which could throw a little bit of a wrench into these trends as we get to see how he lines up this team. Maybe the Foxes get that new coach bump and play a little bit better. Still, even if their defense improves, it still allowed multiple goals in 7 of their past 9. 2, 3, and 4 goals have been the norm going into the Leicester net. West Ham, meanwhile, has been very inconsistent, not winning, losing, or drawing back-to-back games yet in the EPL, but they only have 1 win in 4 games of late. That was not in their last game. The both teams to score has been a good bet for them as well. It's gone 9-4. They've scored in 10 of 13, also conceded in 10 of 13. This certainly looks like a good both teams to score in over 2.5 game, or for the sake of this parlay, just simply both teams to score. And we'll do 2 very simple selections. Both teams to score in that first game. It's around minus 160 odds. Let's do 2 very simple selections here to get to this to even money. Mallorca, Barcelona on Tuesday. It is one of 2 La Liga games being played. A crisis seems to have hit Barcelona right now. They've lost 2-1, even at home to 4th place Las Palmas this weekend. A 3-0 home win over Brest in the Champions League last week is their only win in their last 4 games, drawing 2-2 with Celta Vigo, losing 1-0 to Sociedad also in that time. Now, meanwhile, it's been a dream season for Mallorca so far. They're 6, 7, 3, and 5. After being shut out in 3 straight games, their offense has exploded of late by their standards with 3-2 and 2-1 wins. That suddenly lifted them from the team whose game saw the lowest goals per game, now being the 3rd lowest at 1.9. Still, games at home on the island have averaged just 1.4 goals per game, and they've scored just 6 and allowed just 5. The 13 goals conceded by Mallorca this season, though, are tied for the 3rd fewest. They drew 2-2 on the island last year when these teams met, and Barcelona won 1-0 at home. Now, that draw is the only non-Barcelona win in 13 meetings, though, but in the last 6 games, Barca's only won by multiple goals 1 time. Barca's poor form, that island advantage, home advantage for Mallorca, and the fact Barcelona's now conceded in 7 of 9, all point to maybe this being a little bit closer than you'd think. In fact, at first I saw odds of minus 150, now minus 180. Still relatively short odds for not as big of odds as you would have think for Barcelona to win this game. I don't feel super confident about Barca going away and getting a win here in a place where all games are usually tight. Perhaps both teams to score could be an option in parlay options. Lots of different options here. Barcelona on the double chance. Barcelona draw, no bet. Maybe even Mallorca plus 1.5. Or for the league's highest scoring team, for this parlay, just a Barcelona to score. Obviously, that by itself, not bettable, but we're just going to throw that in there easily. And Wednesday, Newcastle, Liverpool. Take a simple, similar approach here. It will be a tall task. For the 11th place, Newcastle will knock 1st place Liverpool off of this one. It was 2-1 and 4-2 Liverpool last year. The Reds have won 6 straight between them while being 11, 4-0, undefeated in 15 meetings going all the way back to 2015. Now, perhaps after a big win against Man City on Sunday, Newcastle could catch maybe a less than focused and fatigued Red sides here, given Newcastle did play a day earlier on Saturday. Now, on Saturday, they took the lead off an own goal, looked to be hanging on for the win, but coughed it up late, letting Palace score late in that game, 94th minute to draw 1-1. They also lost striker Alexander Isak to injury. After losing at home to West Ham the game prior, the two have just 2 wins in 9 EPL games. They've scored in 4 of 5 recent games, but have given up a goal in 10 of 13 overall this season. Liverpool dominated Man City this weekend. They took a 1-0 lead into the half. It ended 2-0 with a late Mo Salah PK goal. Salah now has goals in 6 straight EPL games, so certainly always a good bet lately for a goal-scoring prop. Now, Liverpool have been near perfect this season. They did 18-1-1 in all competitions. They were undefeated in 16, and they've scored multiple goals now in 8 straight. You would certainly think Liverpool to win. Liverpool on that money line looks like the most likely outcome, or in a parlay, they should at least draw, so perhaps the double chance or the draw no bet. They are coming in a little bit shorter rest here. Maybe the letdown for this parlay, simply Liverpool to score. Once again, can't bet that by itself, but Liverpool to score, Barca to score, both teams to score, Leicester and West Ham, brings you right to even money at plus 100. So the way I see it, as long as we get a both teams to score with Leicester and West Ham, which looks very likely, all you need to cheer on for is Barca and Liverpool to score, also very likely. Parlay number 2, Fulham and Brighton. We're going to go to Thursday here in the EPL. Brighton have the rest advantage. They played Friday. They drew Southampton 1-1 versus Fulham, who played Sunday against Spurs, also drew 1-1. In all 16 games across all competitions, Brighton still only have lost 3 times and only 2 in the EPL. Those losses came to Chelsea and Liverpool twice. The Seagulls have scored in all but one of those 16 games and in each of their past 11. But they've also conceded in 12 of 16. The both teams to score has hit in 6 straight and in 12 of 16. For Fulham in all matches this season, they've scored in all but one, 14 of 15, including 14 straight, last being shut out way back on match day 1, but they have conceded in 12 of 15 as well. Now, there's been several draws between these teams as late. Fulham rarely loses. They're 4-4-0 going back to 2017. Both have proved more than capable of scoring and conceding in basically every game this season on any given day. Fulham have the home advantage. Brighton has the rest advantage, and we should, again, I would expect to see goals from both. Maybe both teams to score in over 2.5, or simply both teams to score. And we'll do one more, both teams to score, Bournemouth and Tottenham. Also on Thursday, 13th, Bournemouth hosting 7th Tottenham. It was a hat trick of penalties for the Cherries. Justin Kluivert on Saturday in a 4-2 road win over Wolves, with other scores recently of 2-1, 3-2 losses, and a 2-1 win and a 1-1 draw. Goals have been coming at both ends lately. Overall this season in all matches, they've scored in 10 of 14, but have also given up in 13 of 14. Given that shoddy defending, they'll likely concede again here against the league's top scorer Spurs, who have scored 28 goals in just 13 games. They scored on Sunday, but drew Fulham 1-1 in 20 games across all competitions. Spurs have only failed to score twice and none in their past 7. A rout of Man City, though, is the only clean sheet they've kept in any of their last 8 games, so they too seem unlikely of keeping a clean sheet here. Recent meetings between these teams have been a 3-1 and 2-0 Spurs wins last year, and 3-2 and 3-2 wins for both the season prior. Once again, we're going for the both teams to score. We'll pair up Bournemouth Tottenham with Fulham and Brighton. Both teams to score bets coming in at plus 120 over at Caesars. Those will be the 2 parlays for this week. Let's touch on one more game quickly here. The other La Liga game between Athletic Bilbao and Real Madrid. Now, this was 2-0 Madrid in both games last season. This game always close, this matchup. There's not been more than 2 goals scored between them in 6 games, and only once has that happened in the last 9. Second versus fourth here, both teams come in good form. Madrid has been poor in the Champions League, but in La Liga, they're starting to pick things up. They've won 4-0, 3-0, and 2-0 in recent games. Meanwhile, Bilbao haven't lost in 9 games in all competitions. They have just 1 loss in 16, have won 3 straight, 1-0, 3-0, and 2-1. And in their last 34 home games across all competitions, they've lost just 1 time, that being a 1-0 loss to Atletico Madrid. So for me, this looks like it could be a very likely draw at plus 250, under 2.5 at minus 130, or in parlays under 3.5, or maybe even under 4.5 if you wanted to be very safe. I might look at this game to include into some sort of parlay with the other Copa del Rey matches going on this week. We won't use it as a main bet, though, here. So we'll leave it at that. 2 parlays, 5 games in the EPL and La Liga. Let me know what you're betting down there in the comments, and good luck.